members present, we have a quorum. Will the clerk please swear in members of staff?
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Members of the board, copies of staff's resumes have previously been provided and remain on file for reference. The board has previously recognized staff as expert witnesses. Does anyone have any questions regarding their qualifications and abilities to offer expert testimony? No motion is required. Seeing none, the Board of Adjustment meeting package for January 15, 2025 with the Development Services staff findings of fact has previously been provided to board members. The chair will now entertain a motion to accept the BOA meeting package into evidence.
Motion.
Motion by Willie,
I'll second.
second by John.
That was Randy.
Randy, I'm sorry. Motion passes. The chair will
Vote.
Yeah.
now.
Marty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we do have to vote. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And I see it's 5-0, okay. All right. All those, the motion passes with 5 members in favor of the motion and no members opposed. Madam Clerk, do we have proof of publication?
Yes, sir.
Did the publication meet all legal requirements?
Yes, sir.
Reading of the legal advertisement is not required. The chair will now entertain a motion to waive the reading of the legal advertisements. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Willie,
Second.
second by Ross. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And it passes 5-0. Members of the board, have you reviewed the minutes of the Board of Adjustment meeting held on December 18, 2024? And upon review of the minutes, are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, the chair will now entertain a motion regarding the minutes for the Board Adjustment meeting held on December 18, 2024. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Willie. Do we have a second? Second by Ross. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. And we have, the motion passes with 5 members in favor and no members opposed. Willie, would you please read the purpose of the Board of Adjustment and conduction of the meeting?
The Board of Adjustment, BOA, hears administrative appeals, variances, and conditional use requests. These hearings are quasi-judicial in nature. Quasi-judicial hearings are likely evidentiary hearings in the court of law, however less formal. All public testimony will be taken under oath, and anyone testifying before the BOA may be subject to cross-examination. All documents and exhibits that the BOA considers are entered into evidence and made part of the record. The giving of opinion testimony will be limited to experts, and closing arguments will be limited to the evidence in the record. After hearing the testimony and arguments for and against the proposed action and before making its decision, the BOA will consider the relevant testimony, the exhibits entered into evidence, and the applicable law. Because decisions of the BOA relating to variances, conditional uses, and extensions of development order for site plan approval are final, unless overturned by a court or competent jurisdiction, the county may issue development orders and permits for the properties in ordinance with the decisions of the BOA. However, if the applicant requests the issuance of any such order or permit, and such order or permit is issued, the applicant and not the county shall bear any risk that such decision may be set aside. The development order or permit may be revoked, or the development may be otherwise enjoined by the reviewing court. Any applicant for relief from a decision of the BOA for said actions or any aggrieved party as defined by state law may seek review of such decision by filing an appropriate pleading in court of competent jurisdiction within 30 days of the BOA decision. The date of the BOA decision shall be the date of the BOA, be the date that the BOA voted at the conclusion of the hearing. Whenever the BOA denies an application, no new application for identical action on the same parcel shall be accepted for consideration within a period of 180 days of the BOA decision. Any person aggrieved by this decision of the BOA relating to an appeal of an administrative decision may within 15 days thereafter apply to the circuit court for review. Each individual who wishes to address the board regarding any particular issue must complete a blue request to speak form and submit it to the clerk of board. These forms are located on a table at the back of the commission chambers. You will not be allowed to speak until we receive one of these completed request to speak forms. We must have these completed forms for public record.
All written or oral communications outside of this hearing with members of the Board of Adjustment regarding matters under review today are considered ex parte communications. Ex parte communications are presumed prejudicial under Florida law and must be disclosed as provided in Board of County Commission Resolution 96-13 before a decision by this board or any administrative appeal, variance, or conditional use request. The chair would ask, as each case is heard, that any board member who has been involved in any ex parte communication regarding the respective issue to please identify themselves and describe the communication. We have one case today, case number V-2025-01. Pensacola Boulevard, a variance request to allow additional signage in RMU zoning requested by Matt Zinke. Denise Anderson, Lauren Murph, and Mike Whitfield, agents for DGS Holdings, Limited Partnership owner. Board, are there any ex parte communications? Seeing none. Board, is there any knowledge of information obtained from a site visit or other source? Seeing none. Does any board member intend to refrain from voting due to a voting conflict of interest? Seeing none. Would the individuals who are a party to this item please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record so you can be sworn in by the clerk.
Good morning, Matt Zinke with Jenkins Engineering. Address is 73 Eglin Parkway, Suite 203, Fort Walton Beach, Florida.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear and affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Stay up. Matt, stay up there just so he can ask you a few questions.
Have you been provided a copy of the criteria required to obtain a variance and a copy of the findings of fact?
Yes, sir.
And do you understand that all criteria must be met in order for the board to grant you a variance?
Yes, sir.
All right, would you like to make a presentation, or would you prefer to have the board or the staff?
I'd prefer staff make a presentation, and then I can come up after that and just
Yes.
give a brief explanation and answer any questions that they didn't answer
Great.
for you. Great. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. I want to introduce you to Melissa Shirley. She's been with us just over a year, working at our front counter, and we are moving her into a different role. We're going to start assigning cases. Got lots of plans for our new staff members because I'm not staying here forever. So with that, I will turn it over to Melissa.
Good morning. So this is the location map for the subject matter. This is the current zoning surrounding the subject matter. This is the future land use surrounding the subject matter. This is an aerial photo of the site. This is looking at the site looking north along Highway 29. This is looking, this is actually looking south along Highway 29. This is across the street from Highway 29. And this is also another one looking south along Highway 29. This is looking onto the site from the road. And this is looking at the actual signage that was placed on the site. And this is looking north, essentially across the street onto 97. And this is looking across, standing on the site, looking across the site from Highway 97. And this is looking south along Highway 97. And from Highway 97, this is looking onto the site. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and this request was, the applicant was requesting additional signage. The first request is to allow a second sign, so a pylon sign for non-residential use in an RMU zoning district. The second is to allow increased area and height on all requested pylon signage, and the final was to request wall signage in addition to the two pylons on the locations abutting both of those roadways. As for criteria 1, there are special conditions that exist which are peculiar to the site. The parcel is on a corner lot, which is abutted by a principal arterial road along the the northeastern right-of-way, which is Highway 29, and then a minor arterial road along the southwestern right-of-way, which is Highway 97. The site is essentially located on a fork between both of those highways that would result, may result in decreased visibility of the site as traffic is approaching from the north along Highway 97 and from the south approaching from Highway 29. The grade increases at the proposed location of the convenience site, which is unique, creating practical hardships for visibility of potential customers that are approaching on both of those arterial roads. As to criterion 2, the subject property's current configuration and roadway frontage are pre-existing conditions. Currently, RMU zoning district would only allow for either one illuminated freestanding 10-foot high pylon sign with a maximum square footage of 50 feet, yet no additional pylon nor wall signage is authorized in that zoning district. The proposed signage request is for pylon with fuel pricing at the ingress-egress at both locations, approximately 32 feet in height, and then use of wall signage along the facade facing Highway 29. The need for additional signage and increased height does not result from actions of the applicant. The proposed amount of signage is typical to similar convenience and automotive fuel retail stores within Escambia County. For criterion 3, granting the variance requested will not prevent any other property in RMU zoning district from requesting a similar variance. The variance request process is available to all property owners of Escambia County. As to criterion 4, on-premises permanent signage provisions authorized by the Land Development Code in instances of other non-residential uses allows for one freestanding sign per individual parcel street frontage and one additional type structure for each full acre above 2 acres. This location is approximately 8.4 acres, which would meet the criteria to allow for 2 pylons, one abutting each of those arterial roads. Additionally, the maximum allowed square footage of the wall signage proposed by the applicant would be given within the existing calculations of the RMU zoning district, given that extra signage was granted in addition to one of those freestanding pylons. Finally, sign variances must demonstrate the following additional technical conditions as outlined in the Land Development Code, Section 5-8-2D, as written below. Staff notes that the additional technical conditions are demonstrated. In conclusion, strict application of the provisions authorized by the Land Development Code would create unnecessary and undue hardship to the applicant. For criterion 5, the requested variance for additional signage would be the minimum necessary to make reasonable use of the land. The proposed use of the site as a convenience and automotive fuel retail store is allowed in the RMU zoning district. In addition, the amount of signage proposed is reasonable and consistent compared to similar convenience and automotive fuel retail operations within Escambia County. And for criterion 5, granting the variance will be consistent with the general intent and purpose of the Land Development Code and will not be injurious to area or otherwise detrimental to the public welfare. The staff recommends approval for the request as it has been submitted.
Do any board members have questions for the staff? All right, if the applicant would come forward.
Let me just start by saying, I work in a lot of different municipalities. This is my first time in front of BOA in Escambia County, but that was one of the best staff reports I've come across. It's covered everything technical, very comprehensive, so there's really not a whole lot for me to say from a technical perspective, but I did want to give you a little bit of background. Some of you may be familiar with the CEFCO gas stations. So, and I've done a lot of work for CEFCO over in Okaloosa, Walton, Bay counties. And they got purchased recently, several months ago, by a company called Casey's, which is apparently the third largest convenience store gas station company in the country. And so this is going to be one of their, they're going to take over the existing CEFCOs, but this is going to be one of their very first projects outside of the Midwest. So obviously important that they have, they're trying to have the signage that they typically use for most of their stores. That's what the sign package shows. It's just their typical pylon signs. You saw from the location of this, it's on a arterial roadway, a minor arterial, and we have certain distances for our driveways that have to be from that intersection per DOT. And so having that, standard pylon height and size allows the visibility they need to allow, vehicles approaching to give them time to make decisions. It's, I think, a 45 mile an hour and a 55 mile an hour roadway. So it is their standard signage, and it would be just, very beneficial to the project, especially being a gas station, to give them the visibility they need. If you have any questions for me, I'll do my best to answer them.
Board members, questions for the applicant?
Board, as an aside, anytime we're talking commercial signage like this, I need to let you know if there's going to be any sort of electronic reader board kind of signage, with a changing message. We do have specific criteria for that will be addressed at the permitting stage. Right now, we're just talking about the overall amount of signage and pylons.
Thank you. Board, questions of the applicant? I have one question. The gas station across from 97, do you have any idea what the height of their sign is?
I do not.
Melissa, can I answer that?
Sorry, it is maxed out at 35, and this applicant is requesting less than that, which is 32.
Okay, thank you.
Just so I can get clear understanding, Highway 97, that's kind of like the Atmore cutoff road, they call it? Okay,
Yes, sir. Minor arterial and 29 is principal arterial.
okay.
Any other questions for the applicant or for staff?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I think it has been presented well by the staff, and if there's no further questions, I'd like to put a motion on the table to approve according to staff's findings at this time.
All right,
I got speakers? Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize.
we have a motion by Willie. Do we have a second?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I was just,
Oh, yeah, I'm
I was
sorry.
just, the speakers, we do want to
We
hear from the
we
speakers.
may have one speaker. Andrew Avane? All right, would you like to speak? No, sir. All right.
Okay.
Okay, motion to approve, to accept staff's recommendation. Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by Ross. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. And we have a 5-0 vote.
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, you said that was a second by Ross, and is that the other Ross?
The other roll.
Okay, thank you for that correction. All right, motion passes. Or, did we vote?
Yep.
All right, sorry about that. Motion passes.
So, board, your next
Let's vote.
meeting. Oh,
Oh,
Sorry,
we're
go
gonna go
ahead.
ahead and take a vote after that motion. We already did?
Yeah,
Okay, all right.
you're good.
I
All
was
right.
there. I was there.
thank you, sir. Yeah. Staff, anything happening for next week, next month?
Our next meeting's February 19th, and as of right now, I have one conditional use that's coming in.
Okay. All right, anything else from board members?
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say I'm just happy for my wife to be here today. Since 2019, she's finally off of work, and she attended today, so I'm just glad to have her here today. No.
I don't think we need a motion for that one, though. All right, thank you. This meeting of the Board of Administration Adjustment is hereby ended.
Thank you. See y'all next month.